This video is about an often neglected side of prepping, which is physical and mental toughness. Hi, this is Everyday Prepper and welcome to the channel. So today I wanted to touch on something that we probably all of us think about at some point in our lives, and that is our mental health and our physical health. And the two definitely go hand in hand. The reason I'm talking about this on a prepping channel is because prepping is not always about just having the best kit and the best skills and the best knowledge about survival for events like a grid down situation or a world war. It's also about having the physical and mental toughness to be able to deal with those situations in yourself. Now, normally I like to try and balance some practical videos with some videos where I will chat about current affairs that are maybe affecting our prepping strategies. But the reason I wanted to talk about this today was because over the years I've always weight trained on and off. And if you watched a couple of my last videos, I did talk about a neck injury that I sustained when I was actually making a video during Storm Henk. And I was putting up a tarp and I was balancing one end of the tarp, or I was attaching one end of the tarp to my gutter system on my conservatory. And what didn't get caught on camera was these immense gusts that came along and blew the board of wood that I had tucked into the tarp and the gutter. Basically, the wood hit me on the head. I had to try and force the wood back into the gutter. I had to wedge it in with some other bits of wood and all that sort of thing. And the pressure that I was exerting downward on my shoulder and my neck I've ended up having to go to physiotherapy. Really embarrassing. I'm 52. I've done weight training in the past. I'm generally reasonably active and fit. So that was a real wake-up call for me. And these sort of things only happen when I haven't been regularly weight training. When I'm regularly weight training, injuries like that just don't happen. So I wanted to point that out in this video. Now, the first thing when you're setting out prepping, as a beginner, the last thing that's probably on your mind is your mental and physical toughness. You want to get all the latest kit, you want to get your skills, you want to get your crossbows and your bushcraft knives and learn how to light fires outdoors and that kind of stuff, and all the exciting, sexy stuff. But I realised recently, I was chopping some wood today, and with a large maul axe. And it really does take it out of you, and there's things like that you're going to be doing in a grid down situation or an SHTF situation, where if you've got no gas central heating coming to the house, or if you've got no electricity, your gas central heating is not going to work. You're going to need alternative forms of heating. So it's all right having all of those things in place, but you've actually then got to maintain it, and you're going to need physical health for that. So this is what I wanted to touch on. Now, I've slacked off a little bit on my physical workouts. I have been doing the odd park run. I've been doing some cardio fitness, and that's great, for running away from things and for a bit of endurance. But for me, weight training has always been a key all-round health booster. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Now, I'm going to be doing a 6-week program. I always start off when I do a weight training program. I'll do it for 6 weeks, which is basically 3 times a week. I will exercise my whole body for 3 times during that week. I may split it up over 4 or 5 workouts, but generally I'll work out my whole body for 3 times a week over 6 weeks. That's 18 workouts, essentially 18 full body workouts. Now, I'm going to probably do a before and after video. I'll take some shots of what I look like and maybe how I feel now, and then after the 6 weeks we'll see what difference I've made. If anybody's interested, I may even stick it on another channel. But I think it's totally relevant to prepping. As I said, I'm 52. You might be a prepper in your 30s, 20s, 30s, and you're already very physically fit. You've got no problem building muscle. When you get into your 50s, the muscle just disappears just like that. If you don't do any kind of resistance exercise or very much, then you're going to be much more prone to injuries. You get muscle wastage, and it's very, very hard to build it back up. So for this next program, that's all I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing some simple weight training, resistance training. I'm going to be using some free weights. I do have a pull down machine, and I have a weight bench. I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be using some dumbbells, possibly a barbell with some iron weights on. I'm also going to be using some calisthenics resistance bands, which are great. There's lots of different ways that you can, without any weights, you can just use those bands to give you some decent resistance training. So I'm going to be doing that over the next 6 weeks as well. This will be aside from my other prepping videos that I'm going to be making. I'm still keeping on top of that, but I wanted to point this out because when you've got everything set up, you know, I've got water stashed, I've got food stashed. Over the years, I've built up a sizable med kit. I've got the skills to use it. I've read that medical survival book that I keep going on about. I've read that, you know, cover to cover several times now. I've read the SAS survival guides, practiced lighting fires outside using a ferro rod and using, you know, really bad and in really bad conditions. So there's various skills that I've learned. I've got all the tools and equipment to go fishing. I've got a boat, small boat with a motor. I've got fuel for it, and so, you know, in a grid down situation, I would know how to get food. I know how to get water. I can filter it. I've got alternative means of cooking, alternative means of heating the house, and generally surviving. So when you've got all of that, I've also got a hefty solar power backup as well, or 2 solar power systems. Which you'd know if you'd seen my previous videos, and I will do some videos on that, on the in-depth setup that I have on how to connect everything up with a larger system than just one battery. But when you've got all of these things together and you've got the skills to manage all of that, there's one thing that can be lacking, and that certainly for me recently has been my physical and mental health, and the two definitely go hand in hand. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a physical program. I'm not going to document every bit of it unless I get a lot of comments saying you'd like to see that sort of thing on this particular channel. If you think it's completely relevant to prepping, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know where you're at physically and mentally. You know, how do you feel about you know, if the lights were to go out and stay out for, you know, a week or so, and you had literally no power coming into the house, and you've got things looking like they're starting to break down in your neighbourhood, people getting a bit stressed out and a bit at each other's throats. You know, have you got the mental capacity to deal with that? If you've got the physical if you've got some physical training behind you and you've been resistance training and you feel physically tough, mentally you're going to feel tough in those situations as well. I'm not sure how I'd feel if there was a bunch of marauders running down my street right now, as opposed to how when I've been training heavily with weight training. I'm not talking about bodybuilding, I'm just talking about getting decent strength behind you, and you feel strong all the time. You also feel mentally strong as well. It's hard to explain, but trust me, that's how it works. And you'd feel a lot better if you've got problems out in the street. You know, it could just be a bunch of young kids just causing problems in the neighbourhood. You know, you've got these gangs these days with like 12-year-olds running around. It doesn't have to be an SHTF situation or a World War III or a full grid down situation. It's just life, and you can deal with that a lot better when you're physically prepped and mentally prepped for these things. So, as I said, I'm not going to go into major detail about, you know, exactly what I'm going to be doing unless I'm specifically asked by enough people in the comments, because I don't want to bore you with that. I don't want this to turn into a fitness channel, but I think that fitness and certainly strength, physical strength and mental strength is of utmost importance, especially as you get older. And as I say, I'm getting older, the muscle wastage is really kicking in now, and as soon as you're not on the weights for a few weeks, it just goes. And I can feel the weakness there. I can feel the potential injuries happening. And to mitigate that, you know, I mean, people can do weights right up until their 80s and 90s. Age is not a factor. I did actually do a website a couple of years ago about lifting weights in your 50s, because that's me. And you know, if you're interested, I'll share the link at some point. But it's something I've always done on and off, and it's something I realise I need to do more of and more often now. Now, of course, I'm talking about physical training from a male point of view, and I know that there's a lot of women out there who would like to lift weights and realise that they might benefit from resistance training, but they are worried about getting big, getting muscly. Trust me, that will absolutely not happen. Doesn't matter how much weight you lift, unless you're taking testosterone supplements, which are pretty hard to come by unless you're going down some dodgy gym. You're not going to get big like that at all. It doesn't work like that. Women don't have the testosterone to build that kind of muscle, and especially as you get older, there's really nothing to worry about looking like one of the, unless you want to, but looking like one of these big bodybuilders. It's never going to happen. Trust me. As a bloke, even working out, absolutely smashing it out 3 times a week for a few years does not get you to be a bodybuilder. You have to be eating tons and tons of chickens a day and protein shakes and all sorts of supplements, and you have to be very, very dedicated to get anything like these bodybuilders look. Of course, unless you're taking steroids, which I will not do. So that's pretty much it, really. I just wanted to just cover that. I have been, the last few days I've been doing my squats, which is pretty much all I do on the legs. I just do squats to failure, and then I'll be doing upper body workouts and lots of stretching exercises as well. I think that's really important as you get older. When you're younger, you can get away with it. Certainly, as a man in my 50s, I realise that stretching out is key. I was watching an interview with Keanu Reeves, who is a similar age to me, a little bit older actually, who's been doing these John Wick fighting movies, and he's saying that as the years have gone on, he's finding his recovery is taking a hell of a lot longer than it used to, and it's totally true. When you really exert yourself, it takes a bit more time to recover. But as I said before, there's nothing to say that people can't lift weights way into their 80s and 90s. I know people that do. So I'll probably come back to you in. I'll obviously be doing some more prepping videos and some in-depth solar power videos, because that's my kind of speciality. In between, but I'll also be looking forward to showing you my progress on my fitness and subsequent mental toughness as well. But do let me know if you wanted any more detail on the actual workouts I'm doing and nutrition wise. All I'm going to do is I have a couple of meals a day, a little bit of snacks in between because I drive for a living out on the road. My plan is I've got a protein powder which I use. It's about 20 grams per serving. I'm going to be having 2 of those a day, so I'm only going to be upping my protein by about 40 grams per day to start with, and I'll see how that goes. That will be quite a difference to what I'm having at the moment, really. So as I say, if you want a full breakdown, then do let me know. But please, let me know in the comments how you feel about this from a prepping standpoint. And if you found this chat interesting, then please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video soon. In the meantime, thanks for watching and stay prepared.